Okay, so now back to business. I got a sermon to preach. I have the impossible task of answering the question, is there such a thing as the one? Well, let me just say, thank Cupid, my partner does not come to services. Why does he not come? Because we believe in the separation of church and mate. And why is it so good that he is not here today? Because, can you imagine me saying, no, there's no such thing as the one? Would he be troubled? Would he run from here, like in despair, wandering the streets? I doubt it. Now, what if he were to hear me publicly profess, yes, destiny gives everyone that one soulmate, and when you find your other half, you will just know. Well, let me tell you, that is a foolproof way to make an atheist run to the hills. Now, in case he does hear this sermon, or in case any one of you sneaks tell him the answers, let him know that my answers are simply yes, no, and yes. Yes, there is, to some, one true love that lasts a lifetime. This is based in the belief in fate, in predetermination. No, for many others, there are different kinds of love that evolve over time, and this is based in the belief in chance, or in self-determination. And yes, there is one true love, and that is love of, well, you'll have to wait for the end of the sermon for that secret answer. In the meantime, let's unpack the meaning of the first yes. From a very young age, we were taught by Walt Disney and by all those love songs like Celine Dion that our lives are written in the stars. We are told that true love comes out of a divine predestination, born of our affair with destiny. Yes, there is the one, we are taught. The soul is not complete without its other half. Now, at best, this belief is so romantic. It is so sweet to imagine that love can transform that mermaid into a princess and that frog into a prince. Now, at worst, this belief system leads us into a state of despair when that one relationship, for whatever reason, does not work out. So, what do you believe? Is there one true love? For many, there is a love that lasts a lifetime, a love that is born of two souls longing to be whole. To illustrate this first kind of love, here is a reading titled The Origin of Love by Hedwig and the Angry Inch. This creation myth comes from a speech by Aristophanes, as told in Plato's Symposium.
When the earth was still flat, and the clouds made of fire and mountains stretched up to the sky, sometimes higher, folks roamed the earth like big rolling kegs. They had 2 sets of arms, 2 sets of legs. They had 2 faces peering out of one giant head, and they could watch all around them, and they talked while they read.
They knew nothing of love. This was before the origin of love. Now, there were 3 sexes then. One that looked like 2 men glued back to back, called the children of the sun. And similar in shape and girth were the children of the earth. They looked like 2 girls rolled up in one. And the children of the moon were like a fork stuck on a spoon. They were part sun, part earth, part daughter, part son. This is the story of the origin of love.
Now the gods grew quite scared of their strength and defiance. Thor said, "I'm going to kill them all with my hammer, like I killed the giants." And Zeus said, "No, you better let me use my lightning, like scissors. You know, like I cut the legs off the whales and turned the dinosaurs into lizards."
Then he grabbed up some bolts and he let out a laugh and said, "I'll split them right down the middle, and I'm going to rip them right in half." Then the storm cloud gathered above into great balls of fire, and the fire shot down from the sky like bolts, like shining blades of fire. And then it ripped right through the flesh of the children of the sun and the moon and the earth.
And Orsis and the gods of the Nile gathered up a big storm to blow a hurricane, to scatter them away. In a flood of wind and rain and a sea of tidal waves, they were washed away.
Last time I saw you, we had just split in two. You were looking at me and I was looking at you. You had a way so familiar, I could not recognize you. You had blood on your face. I had blood in my eyes. But I could swear by the expression that the pain down in your soul was the same pain as the one in mine. That's the pain that cuts a straight line through the heart. We call it love. So we wrapped our arms around one another, trying to shove ourselves back together. We made love.
It was a cold, dark evening, such a long time ago. And it's a sad story how we became separate creatures. It's the story of the origin of love.
Now, unlike traditional stories about the origin of love, this Greek myth couples the concept of sexuality with the theology of soulmates. In this story, the act of making love is not designed simply for procreation or for pleasure. It is a result of souls longing to be made whole with their split apart. Does this capture your belief about love? Is there one soul somewhere out there waiting for you? Do you have in your mind's eye the image of the one that will one day wear your shiny glass slipper? Or are you like many who believe that although these ideas are sweet and romantic, love can be quite bitter? This leads us to the second answer, often given by realists who say, no, there's no such thing as the one. Love is contextual. Love is complex. Love evolves over time, and life is unpredictable. What may seem to be love at first sight, well, maybe that's just lust. True love matures over time, and just as we may fall in love, it is true we can fall out of love. I recently renewed the wedding vows of two women who were married last year. They made the commitment to annually ask one another, will you still marry me? So far, the answer has been yes. If and when the answer is no, they've agreed to do the work of looking deeply into the nature of their evolving relationship. And in that deep looking, they will decide together if they will continue or not. Those who answer no to the idea of the one believe that love can be won. Love is earned, not predestined, for we win some and we lose some. Just as love's labor may be lost, love's labor may be found. Shakespeare says that we are all merely players, and that over time we play many parts. I concur. One day we may be faithful, and the next we may not. One day we may choose to end a relationship, and the next our love may choose to leave us. One day our beloved will be by our side, and the next we may weep at their graveside. One day we may taste romance, and the next we may come to know it will not last. One day we may taste separation, and the next we may believe in a second chance. Those of us who have lost love, do we believe in second chances? I believe with all my heart that life is made of second chances, 1,000 and thousands and thousands of second chances. For those of us who have harmed another, we learn to become accustomed to the regrets of the past. We learn from those mistakes and make new, more grounded vows. We are not our past. We are the choices we make in the present, and therefore we choose differently, aware that our past experiences guide our present choices. It has been said that we are a promise-making, promise-breaking, promise-renewing people. This is what we do best. Try and try again. But here's where it gets really messy. When thoughts of despair and self-doubt overwhelm our identity, we come to believe in the misperception that we are not worthy of love, or that we are not whole without the one. And this is where the third secret answer is revealed. There is such a thing as the one, and you are it. By learning to love yourself unconditionally, you are better equipped to love another. So if you believe in the first yes, that there is the one, know this to be true. A soulmate can only find the other soul if it knows it is worthy of their presence. True love lasts only if you are able to love yourself. Now, if you are a realist and believe that love is not destined, but that love is an act of self-determination, then know this to be true. Your experiences of love will only be authentic if you know yourself worthy of receiving love. Anything less will lure you to a lifetime chasing after the images of the ones you think will make you happy. Oh, I'll start that new relationship. They'll make me happy. The truth is, contentment is found within. So no matter your worldview, no matter where we come from, know that the most powerful Valentine's gift that we can give is love of self. This is not a selfish kind of love. It is an inward attention with outward benefits. It is a kind of love that allows us to release feelings of self-doubt while embracing our wholeness. We no longer have to be self-conscious about the uncomfortable glass slippers that give us blisters. Why force it? A self-actualized person knows that the glass slipper is a mirage. The goal is not to make the one fit into our pre-made shoe, but to love the shoe our beloved is wearing. The goal is to learn how our beloved made those slippers fit so comfortably on their own shoe, on their own feet. Their act of self-care reminds us that we too can be comfortable in the slippers of our own making. So let us take it upon ourselves to craft a Valentine's gift to ourselves. Cupid knows there are many adventures to come, so we might as well be comfortable with what we have. We must know how to love what we have, including who we are. For this is the secret. True love is born from a life of self-acceptance. Love of self is a gift we give to others. For soon enough, our beloved may kneel before us and say, "Here, take this gift." You are handed a shoebox filled with shattered glass. In response to our bewilderment, our beloved responds, "These are the fragmented expectations that Walt Disney taught me to have about you." let's bury them. There are many, many myths we need to bury. One is the idea that we are not worthy of love, or that we are not complete without another. The truth is, we are worthy and we are complete unto ourselves. We are conscious, mindful agents of love who know how to listen to the old stories with new ears. For instance, in the creation myth that we read earlier, we were lured to mourn for the split aparts. What an interesting rhetorical tool that's played over and over in many songs and many stories. We are set up to bemoan for their isolated destiny. But alas, the fate of the children of the sun and the moon and the earth are no different than that of every child. For at some point, we must all be separated from that dependent state. From childhood to young adulthood, the one who is you learns to stand strong as an independent being, only to someday know thyself in a state of interdependence with another. In that moment, we come to see in a mirror dimly the invitation to know just as we are fully known.